for the beginning in classroom, we're gonna do some map reading and a little overview of the micro dagger and the fucking gloriousness of it. So, do you have any questions or comments before we begin this this day? You have a piece of paper and all that good stuff?
Yeah, all set.
Excellent.
And no questions, Sergeant? Thank you.
Yep. Alrighty. Fucking follow me to the class. Actually, I want you to follow me to the supply. I want you to grab, if you don't have one, a map and a micro dagger. So follow me.
Sorry, I'll get the slides all set up and shit.
Awesome, thank you.
Oh, what? That sucks. Can't use the computer while you're sitting down? What kind of bullshit is this?
Really?
Yeah, really. Boom, OSUT. It's a fancy Dell, though.
Don't run this for us, so I put a little face mask on the desk if you need to grab it and put it on.
Roger that. I was trying to hide behind the screen, Sergeant, but it wouldn't let me use the computer.
Yeah, that's why I put that face mask down there.
Alright, thank you, Sergeant. Much appreciated. Dick.
Alright. Get, next
Alright, I'm gonna be right back, guys, for you.
Alright.
Ian.
So on your map, you have vertical and horizontal lines, which make up grids. Now, the horizontal, which is left to right, is called the fucking easting, and the vertical, which goes up and down, is referred to as northing. So, pretty straightforward on that. Not too much of a brain herder. So, from our maps that we use, we can get a 2, 4, and 6-digit grid. Now, if you got a 2-digit grid, or gave a 2-digit grid, that will give you a grid which is 10,000 by 10,000 meters, which is pretty effing ridiculous, so you're not going to find shit in that. Now, if we go for a 4-digit grid, it's pretty good for just getting somebody a general location. Say if you're giving out a briefing and you need to get everybody looking in a certain location just to start off with, so they can get eyes on, you can give them a 4-digit grid. That'll get them within 1,000 meters of an object, or it not within of an object, but it gives them 1,000 by 1,000 meter square. Now we can go a little bit further, and we can give a 6-digit grid. 6-digit grid will give us an accuracy of 100 meters. So we're doing pretty well there. 99% of the time, a 6-digit meter Jesus, a 6-digit grid is all you need. That will suffice with what we do. But since we're in a teaching environment and I am teaching you how to read grids, I might as well teach you how to do an 8-digit grid. So where a 6-digit will give you 100 meters squared, an 8-digit grid will give you 10 meters squared. So that gives you a pretty accurate location. Really, the purpose of that would be dropping mortars from friendly IDF if you wanted to give them a pretty accurate target. Whereas giving them a 6-digit grid ref, they can probably drop and hit enemy on that con. But giving them an 8-digit grid ref doesn't hurt. Alright, so let me show you how to break this all down. Alright, so we said a 2-digit. You can open your map right now. Oh, hold on, let me get rid of the lawns because I didn't mark it down. Side channel. Here we go. Make sure you're on side channel.
Set.
What was that?
That's set, Sergeant.
Make sure you're on side channel when you're looking at the map so you can see the lines that I'm drawing. Alright, so you see these red lines that I have drawn on the corners here?
Eyes on.
Alright, so if you go back until you have 2 numbers on the top and the sides and the bottom, you'll see this grid square marked out. So that is obviously going to be a 4-digit grid, which is good for 1,000 meters. Now, if you scroll in a little bit to where the 2 digits turn into 3 digits, you now see how the markings are translated into a 6-digit grid. So you're looking at that, and this is how they translate. Let me mark all of this. I'll just go to 5 because obviously you can see direction in which this is all going. Alright, so now back that out until you get to 2 digits around now. You see how that 1,000 meter square is now broken down into tenths. That's how you get from one single grid square, you break it down to tenths, and when you zoom in from 2 digits to 3 digits, you see how it is all broken down into tenths. So that now, once was 1,000 meters square, is now broken into 1/10 or 100 meter squares. Make sense?
Yes, Sergeant.
Excellent. So, I'm going to leave that there. Now, what we just did there is already done for us. You know, we could scroll back out to 2 digits and scroll into 3 digits and the lines appear. Well, you keep scrolling, you can't scroll enough to get the 4 digits to pop up, which would give you an 8-digit grid square. So we need to basically do what we just did, going from a 2 to a 4 digit. So let's kind of zoom into the terminal. Not so much that you can't see this grid square. So roughly halfway. Roughly halfway. So we're breaking this down here into tenths, which will give us our 8 digit. So right now we know that the 6 digit of that grid is 145168. So that is this square, this grid square. That's its coordinates right there. 145168 of this entire 100 meters. Well, let's say we wanted it to, or we needed to find this exact location where this blue dot was. Well, we can find it pretty damn easy by using our imagination, and this line here, move over, and this line here, moving up. So when you're reading a grid, you always want to start from the left to the right, and then bottom to top. So the first number we're going to find is going to be part of the 145, which is this right here, because you always go from left to right first. So if we imagine this line here moving over till it's now running through vertically here, you can see it's like somewhere right up in here. So chances are to be between 5 and 6. So I would just say 5. Or you can say 6, it'll probably be closer to 6. So the first 4 numbers of that 8-digit grid is going to be 1456. Now, so you went from left to right, and you just imagine that vertical line, because you're going left to right, coming down. Now, we're going to go from bottom to top. So just imagine that horizontal bottom line being moved up, and now it's going through, and it's somewhere is right there. So, just sheer coincidence, I would say that was 6-2. So the last 4 digits is going to be 1684. So you put all of that together, 1456 base 1684. And that will be your 8 digits for this target. So now you're breaking this 100 meters down into probably something that size. 10 meters squared. Makes sense.
Yes, it does, Sergeant.
Excellent. Okay, so I want you to tell me. You look. Was that 300 meters to your west? I mean east. This red dot that I placed.
Eyes on.
I want you to give me the 8-digit grid ref for that, because we need to order the shit out of that.
Roger. Grid reference 149931693.
Close enough. Yeah, I like it. It could have been 4
Yeah,
here,
Roger.
but that's still, even if you wanted 3, it still would have been about, it wouldn't have been off, it would have been there. It still would have been on target. It just would have been 10 meters south a little bit, so, or north. So, I like it. All right, good. No concerns about that, so let's move on. Get rid of all this junk on here. Alright. Alright, on the map, you have colors that mean certain things. So gray is going to be man-made features. Blue is obviously water. Brown is gonna be relief features. Green is vegetation with military significance. Black is going to be either a grid line or a telephone line, power line. So that's something to watch out for if you happen to be a pilot, because it will take you down. The thick orange lines are MSRs, our main supply routes. The medium thick yellow lines are ASRs, or alternate supply routes. And the hollow lines are your backwoods, 2 ruts with some grass growing in the middle and the sides type of road. So your MSR will be a paved road with striping. A ASR will be a really nice dirt road, often almost flat area. So the road would look like something we would stand it on type. And yeah, went over the hollow lines. Next slide, please. Alright. So, contour lines, elevation markers. That's part of a topographical map. It helps out quite a bit with terrain reading and planning routes for an attacking an AO or getting to an AO, getting away from an AO, whatever. So like I told you the other day, routes, it's made up with a start and end point, and in between you have multiple rally points in between. Well, in that route, like I also said, being able to understand, read your terrain will help you better prepare a route. So, let's see, where is my favorite area at? Because it has everything. I always fucking lose it. Have a feeling it's got a giant red fucking line over it now. Oh well. Alright, get your eyes on grid ref 0716. Right up in here.
Eyes on.
All right. You can scroll in pretty decent. So you have elevation markers. That's what hilltop, you might hear us reference, hilltop such and such. Well, it's great to give you a reference, we'll reference that, hilltop 248 or 247. The other one is 253. You got to really scroll in to see it past the name of that hilltop. So, yes, it's good for reference, but it also gives you elevation above sea level. So, let you know this is pretty high up, and it gives you some pretty decent eyes down over here in the town of Core. So, these numbers are elevation markers above sea level. Now you have brown and red terrain lines. Now, that's the beauty of a topographical map. So this is actually a well-defined hilltop with these markers going out from being a tight circle to, wider and wider and wider down. So that's telling you that you're going from a high terrain that is high in the air, and as you move this way, the terrain is stretching out and becoming flatter, or going back down to sea level. So if you think about it, it looks just like if you took your blanket and pinched it in the middle and you started picking it up, how it would go from a point and it'd actually start widening out as it got down to the base. So that's basically how topographical maps look like. But now, you would say, if you look here, this bump out here, so this is a land, a feature here, how the land goes down, comes here, and it goes down, and it comes back up. So you have low ground in the middle, high ground on the sides. So that looks a lot like the feature that I walked through with y'all on day 2, how when you can get from one location to the other without anybody seeing you, this is what that feature looks like on the map. Get it?
Done.
Alright. So this bump out here just tells you that this land from up top to down low doesn't even out, it doesn't go out uniformity. So if you came here,
Heck.
you can see this way, but if you're on this side of the hill, you can't see past this because this terrain is not flat across. It's not even as it's going down. This land here is taking longer to flatten out into the valley. Unlike here, this land here is fairly even to a point where you can see, if you were standing here, you can see somebody over here. If you were here and there was somebody here that you couldn't see, you wouldn't know that somebody was over there. So being able to read and utilize a topographical map for tactical movement is vital in making and planning routes. All right, next slide, please.
Babe, you guys just
go to
heard.
the next one.
Oh.
All right, so like I said, this is a great example of a hill. This is also here a hilltop. It is a great vantage point. Don't get me wrong, it's a good thing to use. Just don't go up there and fucking set up a picnic area and all that bullshit. You want to get up there, get your recon out, and get moving. There's multiple reasons for that. The longer you stay up there, chances are somebody is going to fuck up, band up, skyline, and give away your position. Now, just because you have the high ground doesn't mean that's necessarily the best thing, because fucking you start getting surrounded by enemy forces, you have nowhere to go. You're going to have to fight going downhill, which isn't always the best. And especially as they push up closer to you, you're not going to be able to see them until they're right on you. So any kind of defensive posture you have here, you're going to have to sit there and wait for them to push up, because if you start looking down on them, you're pretty much out of any kind of cover or concealment at that point. No. It's not always good to be up there. Like I said, get up to Hilltop, you can get your recon out on a town that you might be assaulting, or you can get your recon out on the rest of the route. Depending on where the route is, you know, it looks good on the map, but until you get on the ground and you might see something you don't like, or a enemy patrol that's crossing your route that, you know, this static map doesn't show you. That's another good reason to just get quick eyes up. Just remember, when you get up there, 360 security. Not everybody has to have fucking eyes out. You know, example, the town. You got a fucking 2 fire teams up there. It's 360 security. You know, if anything, get your ARs looking out on the town. Get your fucking ATs on this side. Fucking, you know, get one looking here for that way. Get one looking over here. And get the rest of you guys 360. Alright, next slide, please. Alright, ridgeline. So, a ridgeline is made up of multiple hilltops. So, that would classify as a ridgeline. Not much of a ridgeline, but a ridgeline nonetheless. Ridgelines are good to use to move from one area to the other while staying on the high ground. By traveling parallel to the ridgeline. So by traveling parallel to the ridgeline, you can use that ridgeline as cover on, you know, say we're pushing east. We can use the ridgeline to give us cover on our right flank while we push east, and we still have decent high ground. And the reason why you want to push so far close to the peak of this ridgeline is we get engaged from this way. Well, we can easily pop over this ridgeline at any location, preferably in a certain location we'll go over in a minute, but you can pop over that ridgeline, and now you have earth and defilade between you and the enemy. So if you decided, oh, let's fucking travel down that low, pushing east, and we got engaged from the same direction. You know, we got engaged from that direction. Pushing this way, well, now we're kind of not giving ourselves options. You always want to have options. Here, we're going to have to fucking now react to contact on their terms, on the enemy's terms, because we have no options. So we're gonna have to set up a base of fire, and chances are we're just gonna have to have overwhelming firepower and start bounding forward and push out and overrun the enemy. That's the only fucking option you have. Whereas you have up here, you give yourself option. You know, first option, fucking react to contact. React to contact, you're gonna go behind Earth indefinitely. Here, you have nothing. You might have a fucking rock scattered here or there, and you're pushing the whole fucking platoon through. That's not good. But here, you can jump over. Now you got fucking a ridge line and Earth indefinitely to hide behind to engage this enemy. Well, you can set up a base of fire, engaging this enemy, keeping them preoccupied, and you can have a fire team or squad push around and fucking push through and flank the enemy. Because they can't see what's going on back here. They don't know if a team's coming around this way, using these trees as cover or concealment to push through, or this way. So, always want to give yourself a fighting chance. Alright. Yep, thank you. Next one, saddle. So, this here, between this green line and that green line, is a saddle. Preferably, if you were to be engaged by enemy forces from this direction, from north to south. You would want to, you know, and you were pushing east, and you got, you know, engaged. This saddle would be where you would want to cross over. Reason why is it's because that's the lowest terrain on the ridgeline, and you're not having to fight those extra few meters of steepness trying to get over the peak of that ridgeline, those hilltops. So using a saddle to get across from one side to the other, obviously it's the best way to do it. Is it going to happen? Are they going to let you keep maneuvering or moving? Well, at that point you're getting engaged, so it would be maneuvering. But still, they're not going to let you get to a fucking saddle so you can cross over, you know. Don't try to wait to get to a saddle and cross over. Yes, that's the best possible way. If you can get to one and cross over, that will save you guys probably some time and some fucking casualties. But if not, fucking get over, deflate, as quick as possible. Next slide, please. Alright. This is a great feature here that gets us up and down high areas. So, if you look at these blue lines I'm going to draw, these are fucking draws, and not the kind that you wear. These are features in the terrain that are elevated on the sides and low in the middle. So, you know, if we wanted to get from up here to down in the valley, or we wanted to assault this little bit of area here, instead of us running down the face of the hilltop exposed, we can play it smarter by using this feature here, where it's sunken in the middle, raised on the edges, and use that to get to this area. Obviously, having the raised edges, if we stay below defilade, we don't have, you know, our flank is a little bit protected per se. Our fucking visual footprint, visual, whatever the fuck I'm trying to say, is less because now we're lower than the edges. So if somebody's standing here or over here, they won't be able to see us as we push down. So it is a great land feature, terrain feature to get from low to high ground or high ground to low ground. Now, as you can see, these are not really completed by Mother Nature. But most of the time, a draw is going to be starting and ending from a valley and a saddle. You know, most of the time, you can take a draw from a saddle to a valley. And the spurs are, if you look at the screen, get out of your map for a second, the 2 red arrows on the outside of the middle one, that is our spurs. Next slide, please. Alright, impressions. Wish I could find it. But just imagine you have an elevated position. Yeah, I'm gonna draw a little something here. Just look east of where I've been drawing. Just say, don't look at any of the terrain features here. Just watch what I'm drawing. So say you had hilltops around. I'll even put one over here. And you had a saddle, because in between hilltops you're going to have saddles. Well, in between here, where that X is, white X, that would be a depression. A depression is sunken land that is surrounded by higher or elevated ground. Now it's got to be 360. You know, can't have the, this be low ground also, because then it's not a true depression. I mean, maybe it is, but I'm not fucking.
Sergeant, if I may.
Yes.
If you reference grid ref 103181, right in here, I think that's about the closest you're going to get to a depression in this map.
10, and what was the last half?
103181. I'm circling it right now.
Alright.
I mean, it's not exact, but it's probably the closest we're going to find.
Yeah, so like I said, it's not really something that we encounter too often. Because obviously, trying to find one, I use one all the time, and I'm just drawing a blank here. But yeah, so if you have elevated positions, 360 around a lower area that is a depression. Obviously, you don't want to get inside a depression because you're, AKA the fucking kill box. So you want to stay out of a depression. You find yourself in one. Get out quick, fast, and hurry. Because if the enemy was watching your movement, they would know to utilize that depression as an ambush point. Next slide, please. Alright, so the best thing I can show you for a cliff is let's take a field trip up to the northwest of the map, over here by Thronos.
Eyes on.
These terrain features, these contour lines here, even when you're back
Hey,
out,
Armin, how you doing,
they're
man?
stupidly tight, and when you zoom in, they're still ridiculously tight. So that tells you that going from here to there is ridiculously fucking steep. And all of these rock icons are telling you that not only is it ridiculously steep, it is ridiculously rocky. And not just a little rocky, like shit that you fall into and you're probably not going to get out because you're breaking your legs and nobody's going to be able to get to you. So if you happen to be around this type of feature, just keep your eyes open. You know, say you're doing a foot patrol on this road, going up to Thronos. Just know that this, as an escape route or a way to maneuver on the enemy, is pretty much non-existent. So, right at this point, you can't really count on this area to be able to use it to maneuver. Even though it might not be too rocky up in here, the terrain is still steep as hell, and you trying to get up there and maneuver is going to be slow. At best, you'll probably will be in a walking pace, walking this way and up and back down. So just keep that in mind if you happen to be in terrain like that. And obviously, it's great to utilize that terrain against the enemy. You know, if they're doing a foot patrol, you know, you really have to only cut off 3 sides instead of 4, because if anything, when they get down to here, they're going to get trapped
Here, sorry,
and become
reading a message.
useless because they fell and broke their fucking legs or some like 129-hour, 27-hour type bullshit, and they gotta gnaw their arm off to get out. So if you have to do an ambush on here, you just gotta cut off the head, the tail, and just start fucking tearing ass. You know, just get online and just tear into them, because you know this escape route is pretty much non-existent. Alright, next slide, please. Alright. Before we get on to it, is any comments, questions on what I went over terrain feature-wise?
Negative, Sergeant.
Alrighty. Alright, so...
Sergeant, I got a quick comment actually to I kind of add.
Yeah, send it.
Thanks, Sergeant. So, when I was learning land nav, something that really helped me to remember all these different terrain features, kind of in a really practical sense, is, if you bear with me for a sec, if you take your hand and close it into a fist, that makes up pretty much every single terrain feature right there. So your knuckles are the hilltops, the collection of your knuckles is a ridgeline, in between each knuckle is your saddles, the gap between your fingers are your draws and spurs, and then you have the valley, the connection between your wrist and your hand right there. And then if you flip your hand over and open it up kind of like in a cup, the depression is like the palm of your hand, essentially. And a cliff is just kind of obvious, you don't really need that. But that's something that really helped me to kind of memorize all the different terrain features. That's all I'm saying, Sergeant.
Excellent. Thank you. Alright. No questions on that. Let's get to our microdagger, the joy of using it. So if you hit the H key or the hotel key, you should have it pop up in the left-hand corner of your screen. Has it done that for you?
Yes, Sergeant.
Excellent. So if you look at it, top middle, well, let's make it a little bit bigger for you. So hit the control and hotel key, and it will make it to where you can interact with it. Limited interaction, but nonetheless, you can interact with it. So if you look at the top middle of the screen, that is your in-game time. if you look at the bottom left, that is the degrees
That code here, anyways, is quite
in which
warm.
your body is facing. It's not going to change if you free look. You have to actually turn your body for the degrees to turn. So keep that in mind when you're calling out your 3Ds, you know, distance, description, degrees, in any order. That if you happen to be looking at something and you have your head turned, that is not the degree in which that object is or that enemy is. You actually got to turn and look at it. Next, in the bottom middle, is the grid ref in which you physically are standing in. It gives you your 6-digit grid in which you are standing in. The bottom right is the cardinal direction in which your body is facing. Just like the degrees, the cardinal direction will not change unless you move your entire body. Now, since we're in the blown up portion of the micro dagger, there is a darkened screen inside the screen. You see it? Like as you move your mice around on top of the screen, you have a yellow line with a yellow arrow that's chasing your cursor.
Yes, Sergeant.
Yep. So, where that yellow arrow is pointing, that is what those numbers are in that dark colored box. So, first off, it gives you the 6-digit grid in which the arrow is pointing. It gives you the elevation difference between you and said arrow.
4 degrees, not that freezing. Lord, I should
Sorry?
say.
Say again?
Somewhat like really cold, I guess.
It gives you, so wherever your arrow is pointing on
That should be summer for
your
you guys.
micro
You guys
dagger
should be
when you're interacting with the screen,
weather enough.
it gives you the 6-digit grid in which the arrow is pointing. It gives you the elevation difference in which the arrow is pointing. It also gives you the distance between you and where the arrow is pointing. And it also gives you the bearing, so the cardinal direction and the degrees in which you have to travel to get to that arrow tip. All makes sense for you?
Yes, Sergeant.
Alright. Now, the meter part, the distance, don't say, 0.28 kilometers. Just simply say, 280 meters. Or 270. So if it's 0.26, that's 260 meters.
Go for us, sorry.
To go down to
It's usually much warmer. Our summers average over, oh god, over 100 degrees. I can't deal with that.
0 meters.
I'd rather
Excellent. So yeah,
Can't really
you're just gonna have to do a quick
cool yourself down.
conversion.
Always
that.
warm yourself.
So the highest you can go is, before you change over, is gonna be non-0 meters. Then after that, it is 100 meters, and the highest you can go to that is going to be 0.9. What is that, 0.99? Yes. So 0.99, which would be 990 meters. Then anything after that will be a click or 1,000 meters, and then obviously you would have to transition or just change that
Yes,
over
sir.
to meters
They want
again.
to call it as point.
That'll be 1,000,
Kilometers.
and if it was like
Just exactly
1.03 kilometers, so that's a click, then it's 1,030 meters. So it's easy enough. All right, do you have any questions on your microdagger?
Negative, Sergeant.
All right. One thing before I hand you over to Sergeant, try to get used to running with your microdagger up. You don't have to, but it, at the very least, lets you keep an eye on your guys. But more so, it lets you give out a degree when you are giving out your contact or spot report. So instead of pulling out your fucking compass, which takes a few seconds for it to stop spinning and land you on the proper degree, you can easily have your microdagger out and look at the degree in which you're facing and call out 2 out of the 3 Ds. So you see a enemy fire team moving. So right there you got the description, it's an enemy fire team. Just lancing down at your microdagger, you can have the degree. So say right now, 267, so contact, enemy fire team, enemy squad, 265, 267, range, break. Pull out your rifle real quick, use the range combat optic. Get it on the shoulder blades if you can, and get a guesstimate on the range. So right there, by using a microdagger, you can get a quicker contact or spot report out. Alright, so that is all I have for you at this section of the course. I'm going to hand you over to Sergeant Smith.
Thank you, Sergeant Margiota. Are you going to send up Private Rico?
This scroll wheel, get out of your chair.
You're going to follow me? Don't worry about putting your soft covers or your diaper back on. I'm going straight to supply, Sergeant.
Sorry, Sergeant, I can't really hear you.
Hear me now?
Yes, Sergeant.
Alright, come over here and grab yourself a any loadout. 5mm Grenadier, AR, rifleman, whichever one you want.
I need some drink.
You're done? Go back to the assembly area. Hey, Aaron, how you doing, man?
Sergeant.
Yes. Do real quick, do the radio checks. I'll be on 100.14.
I can fill in. Sorry, I can fill in on his team for that too. Like,
Go ahead.
This is Private Rico. Radio check on frequency 100.1, over.
Rico, what do you call yourself as team leader?
Alpha.
One-man army. Alright, yep,
Okay.
go ahead and just redo that real quick.
This is Alpha. Radio check on frequency 100.1, over.
Alpha, this is McCoy. I have you Lima Charlie on frequency 100.1, over.
Sergeant McCoy, and clear on frequency 100.1. Yeah.
I was want to let the conversation you're talking to know they're talking back to. Just say, Sergeant McCoy, this is whatever. I mean, this is, or don't say this, I should say. Then they're not going to know who just read back their radio check.
Roger, Sergeant.
Yep. Alright, doing my special skilling now.
Specialist Gill, this is Alpha. Radio check on frequency 100.1, over.
Alpha, this is Gillen. Read the lead time on frequency 100.1, over.
I don't think it's evening for Harm. I think it's morning time, Chief. You probably got your times messed up.
Clear. Yeah.
Alright, nice. And then what else is in your PCC?
Nope. Fucking do that shit over again. You're adding stuff.
Break it.
What do you say?
Fucking, he said he was loud and clear out.
Oh. You want
Yeah.
we do that, Private Rico.
Specialist Gill, this is Alpha. Loud and clear on frequency 100.1. Yeah.
Nope, he already told you that he read you loud and clear on that frequency. So all you gotta do is private. No, sorry, not private. Specialist Gillen, this is Alpha. Roger out. He already told you how he reads you. So if he knows how you read him, then you saying Roger, that means that you read what he just said. Now if you couldn't hear him, then you'll say, Specialist Gillen, this is Alpha. I read you 1 by 5 over. You know what I'm saying, Private Rico? All right, yep. So go ahead and
Yes,
redo that again, all the way up from the beginning.
Roger. Specialist Gill, this is Alpha. Radio check on frequency 100.1, over.
Alpha, this is Gillen. Read the lead time on frequency 100.1, over.
Specialist Gill, this is Alpha. Loud and clear, out.
Nope, just Roger. Just the word Roger. Yep, just do that ending again. Yep, go ahead.
I'll just fix up my notes here.
Yep, go ahead and do that. Take your time.
Specialist Gill, this is Alpha. Radio check on frequency 100.1, over.
Alpha, this is Gillen. Read the lead time on frequency 100.1, over.
Specialist Gill, this is Alpha. Roger, out.
Alright, awesome. Now, are you on SquadNet?
Oh.
Make sure you set that to your addition. Can I do that? Or remember how to do
Yes,
that, I
sir.
should say? Alright, cool.
Actual, this is Alpha. Radio check on frequency 100, over.
Alpha, this is actual. Would you...
Actual, this is Alpha. Roger, out.
Alright, what else is in your PCC list? 3, 4 more items left. Go ahead and do that. Just ask them if they have their iPro. Just make the list short. But during OSUT during day 4, you have to make sure the list is fully for that equipment.
Roger. Okay guys, make sure you got your earplugs, vectors, ammo belt. Everything looks pretty good.
Oh, this is McCoy, all green, good to go, over.
Alright, once the equipment check's done, what's next?
Do I ring up actual and say that we're green?
Nope, you're not done yet. Remember, you got a whole fire team with you, right? They don't know who they're paired up with. And did I know who's the 2IC of the team?
Roger. So not the AR, you want... okay. Sergeant McCoy, designated 2IC.
Alpha Squad, solid copy. Over.
And then for this case, you can't really do a buddy team assignment because only 3 of you, all 3 of you would be a buddy team.
Roger.
Which means that no person should be going by themselves.
Actual, this is Alpha 2IC, radio checking on frequency 100.
I've told you this is actual freaks. You want to make sure that your 2IC does his radio check with actual. He just did. Alright, any questions, Private Rico?
Negative side.
Alright, go ahead and stand up. Take the blue flag to vehicle ID. See it or no?
Negative. Oh. That's white flag.
Yep, the blue flag. Do you see the blue flag or no?
Negative, sir.
Alright, come over here. Look at the sign right here. Can you see teleport to vehicle training facility?
There it is.
Go ahead and teleport, yep.
Uh-oh.
Mayday.
This
There's
is
one.
boys.
Medic. Oh.
Oh, this took us to the rear, didn't it?
Yep.
Did, Sergeant.
No worries. Started from the rear up. Alright, stand by. Make sure you follow me, Private Rico.
Keep going, keep going. Sergeant, are we going to the ID or stopping here?
Stop in here. Alright, come in front of me now. Alright, so since we took us to the wrong place, however, though, we still go over everything else within information. It's all the same thing. You take it the same way. Alright, so first off, this is just your mounted vehicle. So this would be our first off basis for our vehicle ID courses. So this is just going to be your friendly vehicles. We'll go over it real quick. When we get to actual vehicle ID course, we'll be going over the enemy enemy assets before we go over the friendly assets. However, I should say, is this, you know what these 2 vehicles are, or what these vehicles actually are? You know what MRAPs are, I should say.
Yes, Sergeant.
Copy. Can you go ahead and see it?
Can I see them?
Yes. Can you say what does MRAP mean?
Negative. Yeah. I do that. Sorry, Sergeant.
Copy. MRAPs mean well, the word, the acronym of MRAP is mine resistant, ambush protected. Do you get what that means then?
Gives me an idea, Sergeant.
Copy. Alright, so MRAP is basically a vehicle that protects the crew that are inside of the Vic from any explosions that may happen, such as any mines that may blow up. It stops any 5.56 or 7.62 rounds from penetrating through the armor of the vehicle and getting into the cabin, as well as it also protects the vehicle from 1 RPG blast, but it doesn't protect it from multiple RPG blasts. However, though, that protects you from any tank, shells, any 30mm autocannons, 40mm autocannons that may hit the vehicle multiple times. So that said, though, it can protect the crew in there for a substantial amount of time. So to continue though, we got two variants of the MRAPs that we use. The first one's a Cougar, and the other one's the RG-33. Mainly use the Cougar because of its space capacity. Oh well, I should say 6x6 space capacity, and then the Cougars, sometimes the Cougars, but RG-33s only have the 4x4s. So with a 6x6, you're able to carry within there at least a squad plus 2 more guys, so a total of 14 people, if I'm correct. But let's continue though. Besides everything else in that basis of what you can fit in the Cougar. Now we just go over your vehicle positions. So can you go ahead and list out to me the people or the positions in a fire team? So you got a fire team leader. Who else?
Then you've got the 2IC.
Not 2IC, but the position. So fire team leader is one position, right? Or a billet. What are the other billets?
Oh, so, Grenadier, Rifleman, AR.
There you go. So, did you know that each person with their own position has their own vehicle position as well? I guess no. Alright, so Private Rico, you as a fire team leader, your vehicle position would be as the vehicle commander. Now, normally, it would be the squad leader to be a vehicle commander, but it could be either of the two. But squad leader usually dictates whether or not he wants to lead the Vic or he wants the team leader to lead it. The reason why you have to leave it to squad leaders, each squad leader is the only one who has direct communication with through platoon net and communications through convoy net, and usually he is able to accomplish the goals of the platoon HQ's attentions and the Task Force commander's attention. So that's usually why you want to have him command the Vic. But like I said, primarily be the fire team leader, but all this stuff is just all dependent on current situations. Now the rifleman is a driver, so he drives the vehicles. Then a grenadier, he's the gunner, and the AR is a vehicle passenger. Now all these vehicle positions aren't set in stone. You usually want to have your best driver be the driver, and your best gunner be the gunner. If they're very good at gunning and very good at driving, then you want them to actually control that vehicle. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, Sergeant.
But these are just your I don't know where to use for lack of better terms, but your preset or default positions. All right. Next, just your buddy teams. So, what are the default buddy teams we told you guys during day 2? Fire team we just paired up with who?
Fire team goes with the Rifleman, AR, and Gran.
Nope. Fire team goes with the AR and the Grenadier goes with Rifleman. But you were close enough, though. Yeah. So the fire team is paired up with the AR, Grenadier is paired up with the Rifleman. So with that said, the buddy teams are the same thing in the vehicles. So the driver and the gunner are buddy team together, and a vehicle passenger and a vehicle commander are paired up together. So once again, that is a Grenadier Rifleman, which is the driver and a gunner. Those two are one buddy team, and then the vehicle commander and vehicle passenger, which is fire team and AR, are paired up together. So if you notice how those preset buddy teams fall right into the vehicle position, the vehicle buddy teams. So the people who actually gain these positions in the vehicle are the ones who are in charge of the vehicle. So, Pirate Rico, you know there's 2 teams in the squad, correct?
Sergeant?
There's 2 teams in the squad, correct?
Yes, Sergeant.
Alright, so, with that said, you can't have a whole squad drive the vehicle. Or 2 fire teams drive the vehicle, so that means that only one team will be in charge of the vehicle, and the other fire team is usually that maneuvering slash point team. They're the ones to be at the front, eliminating all the contacts. Now the team in charge of the vehicle are the ones who have those positions. So like I said, the driver, gunner, vehicle passenger, vehicle commander. Those are your positions, Private Rico. Let's say if your team was in charge of the vehicle. Okay?
Yes, Sergeant.
Alright. So next is your mounting sequence. So the people who mount up first into the vehicle will be the driver and the gunner. That first buddy team. Driver and gunner are the ones who mount up. Once again, that's that's the rifleman and the grenadier. Then the next person will be the vehicle commander. Fire team leader. He's the next person that will mount up. And lastly, the AR is the last one to mount up. Do you know the reason why the AR is the last one?
Because he's got the M249 ready to go if something happens.
Stay firm. M249 is one of the most highest fire rate weapon system that we have. In comparison to the actual mounted 50 cal or the Mark 19 that is on the vehicles. So that just doubles our fire superiority if we have the AR mount up last. And also the AR is the first one off the vehicle as well, because of the same reasons. So automatic rifleman will always be the first one off, the last one on, provide the most highest level of security. So always remember that, fire vehicle, when you're a fire simulator or if you're an AR. And when dismounted, your number one task is to provide security to the vehicle. So like I said, your team's charged the vehicle. So your number one task, you and the automatic rifleman, when you guys dismount, is provide security of the vehicle. The other fire team, their primary task is to eliminate all the contacts that they got engaged by, or the whole squad got engaged by. Any questions so far?
Take the sergeant.
I don't know if I'm confusing you, and I'll break it down a little more. Alright, next is your dismount basics. So, we're going to go over the procedures, what to do in relation to dismounting, and how far away you should be with the vehicle. So, first off, you want to stay at least 8 meters away from the vehicle to avoid any explosions on or around the vehicle. So, remember I told you that the MRAPs protect the members, the crew that are inside the vehicle. It doesn't protect anybody that's outside the vehicle. So, if you're taking autocannon fire, I don't think that's the best thing for you to do is hide behind the vehicle, because it only takes about 2 to 3 rounds to hit the vehicle. Then next thing you notice, the vehicle blows up right when you're next to it, and then you're gonna get unconscious from that. All right. Next, you don't want to cross the road in the herringbone. You want to stay on your side of the vehicle. So if you look around quickly enough, see those first 2 vehicles all the way up to the front, one on the right and one on the left. All right, that is a herringbone. Usually, whenever a convoy is called to a halt, you want to do a herringbone. If you're at this one point, you're in herringbone. If you take contact, the convoy commander says to herringbone, you do a herringbone. A lot of times you don't do a herringbone is when you're told to push through. Usually we push through contacts if we're taking engagements at the near side of the road. What I mean by that is if you're taking fire like right on this shoulder, you don't want a herringbone right there, because all you're going to do is put your men into that fire. And if you're taking one sniper fire or pop shots from one guy, then you want to push through. But that's something that's more advanced that you'll learn throughout your squad trainings. You get into bullet. So you're going to get a herringbone. Right. So we'll continue though. So the reason I want to cross through the road is because there are many reasons. Here's the first reason. Usually when we're herringbone, it's because we're at dismount point. That means that we're about to move as a platoon, not as a convoy anymore. So if you decide to move across the road, what you end up doing is that now you're slowing down the movement of your squad, which will result in slowing down the movement of the whole platoon. So if you're an assault element or a support element, it doesn't matter. Somehow the support element has to move first to get on top of a elevated position to provide overwatch. Or if you're an assault element, you guys got to move first to assault the town very quickly. Whatever scenario may be, you're slowing down the whole platoon, or task force, I should say. Number 2, if it was a short halt, which means we're just doing a quick short halt, put out the side of the road to get ready for an assault, move across the road, you're slowing down the movements of the whole convoy. And one worst thing to do is if you're slowing down your whole squad and mount up, and you got Platoon HQ getting annoyed because they're still waiting on one person to get mounted up into the vehicle. And as soon as the convoy starts moving, you see one guy chasing after their Vic. Next is if usually whenever we do a herringbone stuff like that, or if we're at a dismount point, or an incident may happen, sometimes we'll have the machine gun teams placed on the lanes of the road. What I mean by that is somewhere, let's pretend like these yellow and black barriers are the edges of the road. That's what we call the lanes of the road. The machine gun team is going to lay down right here, edge of this road, as so, and they're going to basically provide fire or look down that street, primarily to prevent any vehicles that may come down there. Number 1. Number 2, take out any contacts. Say if we were told that there were enemy infantry coming down the road, which is probably the reason why we did a herringbone. They're the first ones there to get ready to engage, and they may come down there. Now, secondly, the anti-tank teams, anti-tank gunner, anti-armor specialist teams, they might be on the lanes of the road as well. Maybe called out. There's an armor piece down the road. So that, of many reasons, the reason why I want to be in there. I could list even more reasons for you after. Also, you want to hear more reasons why you shouldn't be crossing the road through your herringbone. But hopefully these are enough for you to not cross the road. Any questions?
Thank you, Sergeant.
All right. Next is a soft dismount. People who do perform a soft dismount is the AR and fire team leader. Like I said, that's if your team's in charge of the vehicle. If you're part of a team that's not in charge of the vehicle, then you dismount during all of the dismounts that we go over, okay?
Roger.
Yep.
Roger.
So let's say your team's in charge of vehicles. Sergeant McCoy's team is a dismount team. So they're going to dismount every time we're in a herringbone and we're called out to do a soft dismount, full dismount, or combat dismount. Now, you will always want to make sure the vehicle is fully stopped for more than a few minutes, or if you're transitioning to maneuver, which means that we're no longer going in a convoy movement. So our movement is now based off of the platoon's judgment. Then we'll do a soft dismount on those scenarios. Next dismount level is hard or combat dismount. People who dismount in hard combat dismount will be the AR, fire team leader, and the rifleman. The grenadier will stay on that gun because he has the highest level of maximum firepower up in that turret, provide cover for the squad and along with the platoon, so he can stay up on top of that gun. So you usually want to do a harder combat dismount when the vehicle is set to provide overwatch as a crew-served weapon. And lastly is full dismount. That means everyone dismounts out of the vehicle. Driver, gunner, fire team leader, AR, and the other fire team, and along with squad leader, squad medic. Now, there's only very rare scenarios you want to actually do a full dismount. First off, if your vehicle is no longer functionable, which that means is that if the vehicle can no longer be operated, which means that the wheels are damaged, your weapon is uncommissioned, which means, or I should say, you're out of magazines for your weapon system that's on, or that static weapon system that's in the vehicle, and the vehicle engine's red, then you could fully dismount the vehicle, put a demo block on it, and then leave it there. Then blow it up when the time is necessary or you're given an order to. Another scenario can be, if the vehicle, like I said, the engine's red, just totally that, and then you'll dismount it. Now, some people say that you could leave the vehicle when you're out of ammo for the turret. In my opinion, you still want to keep the vehicle with you. Even if there's no more ammo for it, the gunner could finally dismount. He could travel with his other fire team. However, though, the driver could keep the vehicle. Because if we just came in a convoy op, you know for sure that keeping his vehicle with us the whole time until the end of the mission. So, with that said, I'm going to keep the vehicle with you all times, even if the turret is no longer usable. Because everyone else could just mount up the vehicle and ride in the Vic towards next objective, or riding it towards back to base. So, that's the reason why I want to disable the vehicle or leave it out there, combat field, even because the weapons is no longer usable. The enemies can find ammo somewhere. Yeah. Alright. Any questions for dismount?
Yes, Sergeant. Could you
Go ahead.
please just go over the soft and hard dismount on who dismounts again?
Yep, soft dismount would be the AR and the fire team leader. If you're the team in charge of the vehicle, those people who dismount. Our combat dismount is the AR, fire team leader, and their riflemen. So that's driver, vehicle passenger, and vehicle commander. Alright, did I answer your question?
Roger, thank you, Sergeant. Yes, Sergeant.
Alright. Do not leave the vehicle unsecure in a combat zone. And one thing you want to always remember, because the enemy, like I said, even if the weapon is magazines are out of the weapon system, the enemies can still find a way to rearm that and use it against us. They can get right inside of our formation of the vehicles, and we never know that was the enemy until they start shooting at us, especially if it's a Mark 19. Alright, now I move on towards the basic convoy procedures. First off, convoy net. Convoy net is 5-0. Write that down. Convoy net is 5-0. Now you can access convoy net through your short range or long range radar. Use either of the two. If you're just a team member, then you could use your additional channel for convoy net. However, though, the vehicles do have a long range. Open up a long range, you're going to press Alt Papa. I'll say again, Alt Papa. Open up a larger interface for you to access the long range. Now, I'll do your radio check. So first off, we need to know what our vehicle call signs are in order for us to do a radio check. So first off, let's say there's 10 vehicles in the convoy. First vehicle in the convoy, his call sign when doing a radio check would be Vehicle 1. Last vehicle in the convoy, when doing a radio check, his vehicle call sign would be Vehicle 10. Or Vic 10. You understand me at that point?
Yes, Sergeant.
Alright. So, next you need to know whoever else is the convoy commander. So, convoy commander is usually, not usually, he's the person that leads the convoy, and that's usually a person who is a task force commander, but it could be anyone of an HQ position or a designated person to be the convoy commander. So that's it. That's another call sign that you need to know. So when doing your radio checks, if the convoy commander is on that frequency, you do your radio checks with him. So convoy commander, this is Vehicle 1. Radio check on frequency 50 over. Now the convoy commander is not on that radio, or you don't know if he's in there. Then you're just going to say, any conversation on this net, this is Vehicle 1, or Vic 1, radio check on frequency 50 over. That's what you're going to primarily do, unless you know the vehicle, or the convoy commander is on the long range. Any questions?
Yes, Sergeant.
Go ahead.
You say any call sign on this net?
Any calling station.
Call in station?
Calling station, yep.
Okay, roger. Thank you, Sergeant.
Alright. Alright, so I already told you radio checks and convoy commander. So next we're going to go over some routine call-ins and combat call-ins. Now, to compare this with something so you can understand, routine call-ins are somewhat in the basis of how we're talking right now, do direct communication, we're not using our radios. You get what I mean from that point?
Yes, Sergeant.
Alright, and then you got your combat call-ins. You know how we use our short-range radio for emergencies? Yeah? Nope.
Not yet. I said negative, Sergeant.
No, okay. So we usually use our radios. So let's say we use our radios for emergency frequency. So routine call-ins are going to be called in is what that has priority over the net on the convoy net. So such as turns, speeds, and halts, such as herringbone. People who only speak on the routine call-in is Vehicle 1, sorry, the first Vic, the last Vic, and convoy commander. Those are only 3 people who actually communicate on convoy net. And that has priority over the traffic. So they speak on the traffic. If you're the Vehicle 2, you can't call in your turn. Just stay quiet on the radio. Now, like break, or using your radio, combat call-ins is somewhat similar to that. So combat call-ins is similar to break, when you have to send emergency traffic. And anyone can transmit on during a combat call-in. So whoever is on convoy net, so there could be Vehicle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or the convoy commander, are allowed to use combat call-ins to break through the routine call-in traffic, okay?
Yes, Sergeant.
Now, things such as combat call-ins can be IEDs spotted on the road, spot reports, or contact reports. Any questions on that?
Negative, Sergeant.
Alright. Next, you have your sectors of fire in a convoy. Special Gun Sergeant McCoy, can you guys file in behind Private Rico? Alright. Within a convoy has a sector. Let's say this is a 4 vehicle convoy. Now, when you're traveling, you always want to have your sectors to point your barrel to. The first vehicle is always going to look to the front, and the last vehicle is always going to look to the rear. So let's see, this is convoy right now. Go ahead and do your sectors. Your sectors of fire, I should say. So, second vehicle has position of either looking to the left or to the right. So pick a sector you want the second vehicle to look to. So let's say you're the gunner of the second vehicle. Which one do you want your turret to face, left or right?
Left, Sergeant.
All right, so Sergeant McCoy, you go ahead and look to the left. All right. Now, let's say, if you're the gunner of the third Vic, where should your sectors of fire should be at?
To the right, Sergeant.
To the right. You want to make it opposite the vehicle in front of you. This was a 6-vehicle convoy. Then the third vehicle look to the what?
Left again, Sergeant.
Left. And where does the rear vehicle look to?
Rear.
The rear. There you go. Thank you, guys, for helping me on that.
Cool, sir.
So you want to keep that at all times. Next is your short holds and long holds. So in a short hold, you want to leave your engine running. And if you're part of that dismount team, you want to stay nearby the vehicle. What I mean by that is like you're right close to the vehicle, you're ready to mount up. If you're the team in charge of the vehicle and you're the AR and fire team, you guys dismounted, you want to stick close to the vehicle too as well. Next is long holds. For the long hold, you want to turn the engine off. Now, if you're that dismount team, I mean by that, you're the team that's not in charge of the vehicle, then you can be within 50 meters away from the vehicle, but establish security further away. Any questions on that?
Negative, Sergeant.
Alright. Now, while on base, you want to make sure your turret's facing towards the air, because you don't want it hitting if your turret's facing towards the ground or towards just leveled out. You want to actually ending and hitting the friendly vehicle or friendly persons, especially when you have a Mark 19. You can start blowing up other vehicles and killing people with the dispersal radius of that grenade round. Next is some that's very crucial. First off is that vehicles when moving and maneuvering work the same as infantry. They can use formations by base of fire. They can do a whole types of other things that infantrymen can do or infantry teams can do. Next, convoys are controlled the same as infantry squads. They move when they're ordered, they communicate their movements, they maneuver, and etc., etc., etc. You add to that standpoint. So, all in all, vehicles act the same as infantry squads do. Any questions on that?
Negative, Sergeant.
Okay. I'll hand you over to Sergeant Margietta for the mounting and dismounting of the ordered vehicles.
Alright, come on over here this way, Private. Alright, we're gonna go big one first. This is the DH-47 Chinook. So this is the airframe we're gonna most likely gonna use when we're in some kind of platoon training or operation. Notice right side of me, left side for you, that the guys are in a file, and they are roughly 45 degrees off center behind the bird. Now, they have to wait for permission to board the bird. So that's their squad leader right there. And that is a whole squad waiting to mount up. Now, once they get the
Alright, be right back.
permission aboard, they're going to go in a file, move up, and they will start boarding the helicopter. Now, the airframe has 2 miniguns for door guns on either side, so usually 2 team leaders will take those door guns. Now, that airframe can hold more than 1 squad. It can hold 2 squads plus more men. So it might be a team lead from 1 fire team or 1 squad, and then a team lead from another fire team, another squad. So it really doesn't matter as long as the guns are occupied. So once you get in, get seated, you're going to call up to your team lead, so and so is in. Just like you're doing a Vic, you'll call when you get in and when you get out. So when you mount up, so and so is all in. If you happen to be a team lead, you wait for all your guys to call up. Once they're all in, you call up to your squad leader and you tell him, so and so team is all in. So he knows that his entire squad is all in, and he can call that up to platoon and let them know that so and so squad is all mounted. Now, that's the easy thing to do. Just walk up to the back, make sure you're in the kneeling position, and just pick rod and back if you happen to be a like AR or grenadier or rifleman. So this is when we are on base. It's gonna be calm and collected like this. If you're on a gun on base, you're gonna make sure you have it pointed forward and down. Those miniguns, so you can have it pointed forward and down at the ground. That's pretty much it for this part. Let's take a walk over to this direction. All right. So we're taking off and we coming in for our approach. Usually they'll give you a 30-second warning, just let everybody know that, we'll be touching down roughly 30 Sierra. Well, make sure you get all your shit together, you get the right frame of mind. The bird touches down. Now, in this airframe, we can't have a fucking free-for-all exit. It's got to be coordinated. Now, you're not going to just have somebody in there telling whoever to go to get out. It's going to dismount like a zipper. If you know how a zipper comes and goes apart, it's going to look like that. Alright, so you seen the two seats I switched from? First it was the one on the right, then it was the one on the left.
Yes, Sergeant.
Alright, so those are going to be the two seats to go first. So the one on the right here is going to go first, and then it's going to jump over. The person sitting in this seat will get out. Then the person that's sitting in this seat will get out. And then the person in this seat will get out. And then this seat. And then this seat. Make sense?
Yes, Sergeant.
Yep, that's how it's going to have a dismount. So, get in your first person, you're going to fucking free look to your left or right, depending on how you're sitting. And you will wait for the person next to you to disappear. That is when you go. Now, if the person next to you doesn't disappear within a second or two, then just go. They could be having technical difficulties, they could be lagging out, they could have fucking some kind of issue. So don't hold up the rest of the helicopter waiting for them. Just bypass them and get out. Now, Just like getting in, you're gonna call when you get out. You're gonna get out, find a spot, and call you're out. Now, the two first people to get out, so the guy that's sitting in this seat, when he gets out, he's gonna come like this, and he's gonna do a button hook, and he'll either go prone, or he can fucking kneel, and he will get out security 12 to 12 o'clock position. Now, the person in this seat, right here, they're going to do the same thing, but on this side. They're going to come out, kneel will go prone, and get the 12 o'clock position on the bird. Now, everybody else that gets out the helicopter is going to fill in from there all the way around. Now, this is kind of tight. This is only a squad that's dismounted. But as you can imagine, another 10 people plus more getting dismounted at the helicopter. So you got to kind of make this circle or half circle, 3/4 of a circle, a little bit bigger to accommodate everybody. Any questions on the dismounting portion?
Yes, just to clarify, Sergeant.
Yep.
It's left guy goes left, right guy goes right. Everyone.
Uh-oh.
Everyone else just starts filling in from the left here and goes around.
No, you don't have to go in around. Just when you get out, you pop out, and you see a fucking spot over here open, you fucking run over here. Obviously not that far, but that's actually not that far away, thinking about it. But yeah, run over there, find a spot, and go prone. So yeah, you're going to be mixed in with another squad. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be right next to your battle buddy, mixed in with your squad. Just get out the helicopter in a timely fashion, find a spot that needs to be filled, cover that sector, and remain there until you get a move order from your squad leader.
Roger, Sergeant. Thank you.
Now, obviously there's variables, but we don't have enough time to go through all the variables. Just an example, if you're getting fucking shot at when you're dismounting, and it's not safe to be out here pulling security with no fucking cover, don't stay there. You know, get away from the bird, fucking start finding cover, you know, be smart about it. But, not gonna dabble into that too much more. Alright, so this is how you dismount this bird in general. And obviously the two men on the guns will dismount last because if they can, they're putting out suppressive fire with the fucking miniguns. Alright, let's move on to the other airframe. So that's the CH-47 Chinook. That is call sign Phoenix Heavy. Phoenix Heavy. Alright, so this is just call sign Phoenix. This is the fucking Black Hawk. We use this for squad trainings and such. Now, this can fit a squad plus a little bit more in it, but just for teaching purposes, it's just going to show a squad. So, the person that is out of formation, and that's just right there, that is going to be the squad leader. The four guys here will be either Alpha or Bravo fire team leader, a fire team. It doesn't really matter which one is where. And the reason why you have a odd man on this side is because the squad medic happened to file up with those with that fire team. Now, same thing on this airframe. The 2 team leads are going to take the door guns. You're going to point them forward and down at the ground. As you get in, call that you're in. Now, obviously the same thing has to happen. They got to call, or the squad leader needs to ask permission to board from the pilot. That's always something that needs to happen when we're leaving a friendly base, friendly area. Once I'm finished with this, I'll go over if we're leaving a active AO, but for all purposes, we're on a base doing this. So he asks permission. He calls up to his team leads. All right, Alpha Bravo, permission to board. They all getting in. Call that they're in. Team leads call up the squad leader saying so team's all in. We're gonna just point the guns down and to the front, or to the front and down. Now, give me a second, I'm having a brain fart here. On both these airframes, the one that I'm teaching you now and the one that we just went over, the way you get into the airframe is the way you get out. So if you're out, if you go in with no mag in and your rifle down at the low ready, you're going to get out with no fucking mag in at the low ready. So keep that in mind. The way you get in is the way you get out. Pretty much that's all for the mounting of said airframe. So let's move on to the dismounting portion of the airframe. Alright. So the dismounted portion is you can dismount everybody at once. The entire airframe can dismount as soon as you touch the ground. It's not gonna do weird shit like if you were in the Chinook. The Black Hawk, you dismount, you're fine. Now also the Black Hawk, when you dismount, you are going to dismount on the side that you got in on. And now that just rings a bell. I'll get to what I just remembered in a second. But when you dismount, get out on the same side as you got in. Now, obviously, it would be wise for the Mike to get in on the same side that the squad lead gets in, just because they're battle buddies. So when they get booted out of the helicopter, they'll get out on the same side. So that's the 2 gentlemen that are kneeling up right now, is your squad leader and squad medic. Now, that's one fire team laying down, pulling security. The other fire team pulling security. This security is a little tight for my liking on the helicopter. I would want to see this spacing probably another 5 meters or so off the airframe of the helicopter. Now, kind of jumping back to the getting in part, you have 2 door guns. The one on this side of the airframe, right here, that one there is called the crew chief. So if you happen to be the team lead that's mounting on this side, you want to make sure you select the crew chief slot. The other one is not going to say crew chief. It's obvious which one is what that the two team leads need to get on to be door gunners. Now let's just say, for shits and giggles, this team leader messed up and picked the door gun on that side. Well, that means he's now going to get booted out on that side. That's like the only weird thing there. Even though you entered the bird from that side, you picked that door gun, so you're going to get booted out on the wrong side of the helicopter. That happens, just stay on the wrong side. Just stay over there and pull security. Last thing you want to do is run in front of the helicopter, because they don't want to stay on the ground any longer than they have to, especially when they're dropping us off. Even when they're picking us up, they don't want to stay on the ground any longer than they have to. So you get out on the wrong side, just stay fucked up and stay there. Pull security on that side, because that fuck up can turn into a catastrophe if you try to fix it. So that's it on mounting and dismounting. Now, if we happen to have to get fucking airlifted out of a hot AO, one second. You happen to have to get fucking airlifted out of a hot AO. This whole fucking sense of structure and everything else kind of goes out the window. You want to get your ass in the helicopter as fast as possible. Make sure you call out that you're in. At this point, if fucking I happen to be a fire team leader and one of my guys underneath me gets to the bird first, I pray to God that they get on the fucking gun before I do. It's, you know, it's just common sense. At that point, it's fucking life safety for everybody. I mean, obviously, hopefully somebody competent gets on the fucking gun and doesn't start mowing down friendlies on accident. But I would want somebody on the gun ASAP and returning fire, putting out fucking suppressive fire on the enemy. So, when we know that we're gonna be fucking extracting out of a hot AO, you're gonna fucking get to that bird as fast as humanly possible, get in as fast as possible, call that you're in. Now, it doesn't mean you gotta fucking have, you know, Alpha Fire Team all load in on this side of the bird and have fucking Bravo load in on that side. No. Fucking just get in and get in quick. Call that you're in and fucking just keep quiet and let the pilot do his thing. But that's the same thing basically for this airframe and the CH-47. You want to just get in there, load up, get on the gun, load everybody in, and you know, don't everybody start fucking freaking out in the helicopter trying to overtalk the pilot because he's listening on comms, he's trying to fly, and all kind of shit. So, you know, people screaming and everything else does not help with his situation. So, that is about it in a nutshell. There is a air assault school that you have to go through, and it will cover what we went over today more in depth, but also fast roping out of a helicopter and some more intimate with this airframe. So, yep, Any questions on this?
Negative, Sergeant.
Excellent. All right. I don't know where he's at. All right, follow me. All right. I'm gonna give a like a 2-minute break or so. If you gotta go piss, whatever, just kneel down and stand back up when you get back.
Roger. Sergeant. I can hear you, Sergeant.
Are you gonna take him through this part of the course, or? All right. Yep.
calling you Rico Suave from now on, Private.
Yes, Sergeant. Yes, Sergeant. Gun. Yes, Sergeant. The wheels. Mostly. Oh. Negative, Sergeant. Negative, Sergeant. Yes, Sergeant.
Con my level 2.
Yes, Sergeant. What was their armor like, Sergeant? So like what's good against them? Roger. Roger, thanks, Sergeant. Sergeant? Yes, Sergeant. Negative, Sergeant. Negative, Sergeant. Negative, Sergeant. Yes, Sergeant. You mean the tail rotor? Thank you, Sergeant. Oh, one question, Sergeant.
Oh, they called you up there?
Is this auto cannons here? Okay, thanks, Sergeant.
History. Nice.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Nice.
What was this call sign again, Sergeant? Roger, thank you, Sergeant. Thank you, Sergeant.
Get out
Negative, Sergeant.
What happened? No. Yeah.
Negative, Sergeant.
Oh, moving.
Negative, Sergeant.
Negative. Do, 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 do.
How's your beer with fun?
Roger, Sergeant. Yes, Sergeant.
Thanks, sir. I just want to add that between the two middlemen in the stack, you got to make sure that one of them is also keeping an eye on second-story windows and ledges as well. Sorry, apologies. Thanks, sir.
Yes, Sergeant. Yes, Sergeant. Negative, Sergeant. Once you just did what you did. Oh, just non-lethal will be fine. Or just normal. Roger. Roger.
She said,
What's up?
Oh.
come up. Yeah.
Yes, Sergeant.
You want me to go on this one? Going left.
Alright.
Left clear.
Negative, Sergeant.
I got an opening left for the back. Fine. Clear.
Thanks, Sergeant. Completely up to you, Sergeant. Alright, I think I'm pretty good with it, Sergeant. Yep.
No, just like the sergeant says, be here 15 minutes early at least. Go over your notes. Be prepared to do the complete shindig that we've taught you with pre-combat formations and checks from beginning to end, so we can staff off in a timely manner to do the FTX. Yeah, that's about all I can say to you. So have yourself a wonderful Tuesday night, and we'll see you on Thursday.
I was just gonna say, if you, I'll volunteer to quiz you on your notes if you are so willing.
Roger. Thank you, Sergeant.
Yep.
Good luck
Have a good
with it.
And yeah, thanks for sticking with me, eh?
I mean, you're doing well as far as I can see. So keep it up.
Roger. Thank you, Sergeant.
Sergeant Smith, you missed my birthday song. Oh, when I was taking care of that recruit that was late for his class, I jumped down to talk to the LT to tell me to sign up for his class, and then all of a sudden, First Sergeant calls the all hands to conference room 1, and I got a happy birthday song. Yeah. Yeah, they've been practicing. I can tell it's actually the best one yet. But I knew it was coming eventually. Couldn't trust Barton with that information. He tried to blame it on Elias, but First Sergeant called him out. All right. Yeah. Right on, guys.
Yep. Congratulations again. Fucking getting another year older.
I'm catching up to you, Margie.
I don't know about that.
My actual birthday. We go 3-2.
Yeah, I'm like way past my 1 year here.
Yeah, I always tell that to the older people that I work with, like, oh, it's your birthday, and like this guy's like 60. I'm like, yeah, I'm catching up to you, buddy. Don't worry. Yeah, it's funny. I bet you.
Oh, there we go. All right, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. I got like 6 viewers on this, or something that's been that much entertaining. But I hope you guys stick around. Though I might be streaming some Siege or something. I don't know. You guys stick around for about maybe an hour or two. Hopefully I don't disappoint you and actually stream something. We come again on Thursday. I will be streaming OSUT. If we have enough time, I will stream me filling in for 3-1 squad training as well. So make sure you guys hit the follow button if you haven't done so, or hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channel if you're watching through there. Nothing else. Take care, guys, and see you in about 30 minutes or so, or later on.